Hey y'all, it's been a minute, but we are back with another video, and today we are making Southern Red Velvet waffles drizzled with our cream cheese frosting, accompanied by some fried lobster tails. Y'all, let's get into it. Brunch with a twist. This was bomb. Let's go. So I started off with some cream cheese and some butter, both softened. Gonna go ahead in with some vanilla, and y'all, I tried mixing this together with a spatula, but honey, like it wasn't doing it for me, so I had to put that down and I had to bring out a whisk. Now I do have a hand mixer, I also have a KitchenAid, but a whisk, actually it wasn't that bad. So if you don't have any of that, a whisk, it will be your go-to. If you only have a spatula, hats off to you, but a whisk was perfect for this. So once you get that nice and smooth, you're gonna add in your confectionate sugar, and I did it about a half a cup at a time because I didn't want a big poof cloud and I didn't want to overwork my arm, because turning it get a little tiresome. So you do about a half a cup at a time, and then you're gonna stir in until nice and incorporated, nice and smooth. See what I mean? It's a lot of work. Whew, I needed a break. So I went ahead and with whole milk, and then you're gonna add just a little bit at a time until it loosens up and you get to the consistency that you are looking for. So you do not want to pour in all your milk at one time. You're gonna do this gradually, and then it'll also make stirring a lot more easier. So I just added bit by bit, and it was taking a little minute to get to the perfect consistency that I wanted, because remember, we're gonna drizzle this over our waffles, and I didn't want it thin at all, but I also did not want it super thick. So I really took my time and made sure that I didn't add too much milk in, and got to the consistency that I was looking for and that I was pleased with. And as you can see, everything smoothed out nice and perfectly. It's nice and smooth, and it is a perfect consistency to drizzle, where you get those, that drizzle look. Okay, so let's move on. So now we're gonna get started with our waffle. So here I have some all-purpose flour that I whisk around just a little bit, and then we're gonna add in our sugar, our baking powder, cocoa powder, salt, and then we're gonna go ahead and whisk all of these ingredients together. Now if you don't want to, I didn't have to sift this, y'all. You see the little cocoa balls, just go ahead, beat those in, and then eventually they'll get worked out anyway once you add all the rest of the ingredients. So in a separate bowl, I have buttermilk, more vanilla, melted but cooled butter, apple cider vinegar, and red food coloring. And we want red velvet waffles, not burgundy waffles. So yes, I am going to use the whole container. Now I don't want to hear nothing, oh, you shouldn't be save it. Go ahead and give that a nice whisk. And as you can see, it's a real luscious, devilish red too. And you're gonna mix that together until it's all well incorporated and nice and smooth, and no more buttermilk peeking from the bottom. So once you have mixed all this together, you're gonna take all of your dry ingredients. You're gonna go ahead and pour that right into the bowl, similar to how you would make a red velvet cake, but we're not making cake, we make pancakes. Now we making waffles. not pancakes, we're making waffles. I mean, you can make pancakes with this mixture also, but today we're making waffles. And then key to this is adding a little bit at a time. You do not want to pour in your whole bowl of dry ingredients. You want to add that in maybe a cup at a time. So you want to mix it around and gradually pour the remainder of your dry mixture in with the wet. Again, y'all, I got some muscles today with working the spatula. Okay, it was a little workout, but it'll get there. Okay, so don't panic if it doesn't look all together, you know, right off the bat. It's gonna take a little elbow grease, but once you get in there with your elbow grease, it does come together in the end. And then our mixture, don't be alarmed, it is very thick. It is not cake batter. It is not thin whatsoever. Okay, so it is thick and it is supposed to be. Moving on. So now I have my waffle maker, and then we're gonna wait until it says ready, and I have it turned up to the max, of course. I have my baking pan spray so that our waffle does not stick while cooking, and then we're gonna get started. So the waffle is ready. You're gonna spray both sides, top and bottom, of your waffle maker. I probably should have measured this part, but I didn't. So I would say about a cup of our batter, and then you're going to put it to the middle. So keep all the batter that you're scooping into the middle, and allow when you press down with the waffle maker for it to distribute equally around the waffle maker. So it is a little thick. You're gonna press down, and then my green light was ready, and wham, there's our first waffle. Now, red velvet is very delicate. You know, we got buttermilk, so things is soft. So I did use a spatula to pick up my waffles, just because I didn't want to break them or tear them, because they are a little delicate. So you're going to repeat this process. This recipe does make 3 full-size waffles. So if you need more, feel free to double the recipe, triple the recipe, whatever you need to do to fulfill the amount of servings that you will need. Y'all, look how bright and red and pretty. Yes. So again, I went in with a spatula because I didn't want to break it. And then I'm just putting them on a plate off to the side. And make sure that you spray your waffle maker with the pan spray each and every time that you go in to make a waffle, because you don't want it to stick to the waffle maker. So that one wasn't quite done yet. You know how a cake look almost done? It had that look, so I had to put it back on there a little more. But now we're ready. Come on, red. Yes. So I put my waffles on separate plates because I didn't want them to stick to each other. You know how hot things tend to condensate and stick. So I didn't want that. So I put them on separate plates. If you don't need to, feel free. So now we are going to move along, and we are going to prepare our lobster tails. So here I have 3 normal size lobster tails. So the little, what are those? I have no idea what they are. Little lobster feet. No, that's not, I wouldn't say feet. Little feathers. It's kind of like feathers of a chicken. We want to get rid of those. So I'm going to cut those from the bottom. I don't know why they bother me, but they do. So they have to go. And I'm going to cut that out of there. And then you want to make sure that you leave the shell around the bottom, because that's going to help us stand the lobster tail up right along in here for our presentation. So leave that alone, but just go ahead and take off the lobster hair. So if you don't recall, we are going to go ahead and bust open the lobster tail. So you're going to cut straight down the back of the lobster tail, but you don't want to cut all the way down. So where my finger is, we are going to cut up into there. You are going to gently pull it apart, pull it out. Okay, we do not want to be any member of the Avengers pulling too hard, because you're going to rip it, and that's going to mess up your presentation. So put your finger along the back, and as you can see, boom, the meat just releases effortlessly. And then you can prop it up. I mean, we're going to fry them. We're not baking them, so it's sitting on the lobster tail like that, not necessary. Okay, so you're going to continue the same process, cutting off all the little lobster hairs or lobster feathers. When y'all, please, in the description box below, what the technical term for what this is that I'm cutting off, please let me know. Okay, and don't laugh if I'm ignorant to, you know, what the real name of it is, but we have to cut that off. So then you open up, and then you're gonna pull out your meat gently, and just repeat this process for however many lobster tails that you have. Also make sure that you devein your lobster tail, just like we devein our shrimp. I had to go back and check because I didn't see one the first time, but I was just making sure. Okay, so for the last time, you're gonna go all the way down, snap, and you need a good pair of kitchen shears to accomplish this. I prefer kitchen shears. I don't like doing it with a knife. I mean, use what you have, but if you have a good pair of quality kitchen shears, clutch. Okay, you're gonna pull them out. You're gonna look for a vein. Make sure there's no vein there. Okay, so I have, make sure you rinse out your lobster tail thoroughly. Above and under the tail, because a lot of salt water gets trapped. And then we're going to start seasoning. So here I'm going in with some garlic powder. Now I have Old Bay seasoning, and you don't want to season. Remember, seafood is naturally salty. There is onion powder, and then I follow up with just those three. So you don't want to over season seafood because it's naturally salty. So you can be generous with the garlic and the onion powder, but anything salt based, proceed with caution. So here I have some all-purpose flour, and I'm going to go in and season with the same things. So I started off with garlic powder, onion powder, Old Bay, and then I also went in with creole seasoning, and then a little parsley. So I'm just gonna take a fork, and I'm gonna, whisk around all of that and make sure it's well incorporated. And you want to make sure your flour is seasoned to perfection. And how you know if your flour is seasoned enough is if you can see your flour should have a little color, and if it doesn't, you need more seasoning. So here I just have buttermilk, and then some crystal. Can't go wrong with crystal hot sauce. Sprinkle that thing in there, and then you're gonna go ahead and mix that around. And this just gives it a little extra. So as you can see, I lightly season both sides of the lobster tail because you eat both sides. And then you're gonna roll it around in the buttermilk, and then you're gonna transfer that over, and make sure that you coat everything underneath the top of the lobster tail, also with both buttermilk and flour, because you want to make sure that the tail meat is all fried. You don't want the bottom of the meat to not be crispy like the top. That's just tacky. So you're gonna get your hands dirty during this step, but as you can see, didn't miss a piece of meat. Okay, so roll that in the buttermilk. Make sure that the shell is coated good enough in the buttermilk. And I honestly pressed a lot of the flour in just to make sure that I didn't miss a piece, because you want the entire piece of meat to be crunchy and just like we fry chicken. Okay. So all of our lobster tails have been dipped in buttermilk, coated with flour. So now we are ready to fry. So I did use like a medium-sized saucepan. I wanted it deep enough so that all of my lobster tail would be submerged. And as you can see, I have it on medium-high heat. So once your oil is hot enough, you are going to gently lay your lobster tail in. Now I like to put it basically upside down, because we're not really worried about frying the shell. The shell is going to do its thing. That thing going to turn red. But you want to make sure that your meat is done and super crispy on the outside but still tender but done on the inside. And then you also want to make sure that that flour and buttermilk mixture that kind of gets trapped in between the meat and the shell, you don't want that soggy either. So you want to make sure that you fry the lobster tail hard enough so that it is cooked, you know, and crispy as it needs to be. So make sure, I would say at least 5-7 minutes. I mean, it doesn't cook as quick as shrimp does. You want to make sure that the inside, as I said before, in between, you see how hard how we talk down here, we say it's fried hard, but yeah. So I have drizzled our waffles with our cream cheese frosting, and look how beautiful. Now this was super simple. I do come from a baking background, but look, just put it in a Ziploc bag, pinch a little hole, and, you know, drizzle. And this is what our lobster tails are looking like after being fried. Y'all, get into how golden brown. You see that seasoning coming through, and it's the perfect crisp. It's not fried too hard. It's literally done so beautifully. This was a great spin to any brunch. I highly recommend that you guys try out this recipe and let me know in the description box below how you like this combination, because a lot of people don't, you know, you say red velvet waffles with fried lobster, like we used to chicken and waffles. Like, what you mean we having fried lobster? Yes, we jazzing it up a little bit. Okay, so as always, thank you guys for tuning into another video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.